It's tucked under because.
Oh, I see.
What are the donos
Looks like
at
a grove.
already?
We love my
$670. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. We haven't even started. You guys have already donated $670. That is crazy. Thank you so much. I assume some of you have done that because you know where I am already. This is Conservation Uncharted episode 5, right? Space, is it episode 5? I think it is. Episode 5, this is my second one at Wolf Conservation Center though. So I'm in New York at the Wolf Conservation Center. They are a nonprofit. They've been protecting wolves in North America for over 20 years. So they have a couple different programs here. They do a bunch of education. They do, thank you for the $5 donation. They do advocacy, they do education, they do recovery. So they have recovery programs for red wolves, for gray wolves. We're going to talk about all of those today. Thank you for the $100 donation. So again, it's a nonprofit. All of your donations matter a ton for these wolves. We're going to talk about some of the species that they have here are critically endangered. There are very few that are still in the wild. So the work that they're doing is so, so important. And they're currently one of the 3 largest holding facilities for endangered Mexican gray wolves and red wolves, which is very cool. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for the $150 donation. Giggling Goldfish, thank you so much. Boolean, thank you for the $25 donation. Hello, everybody. It's amazing. Thank you. So today is very, very special. Wolf Conservation Center reached out to me. They recently got a new ambassador. You guys are very familiar with ambassador animals, obviously, because of Alveus. They have ambassador wolves here, and they have a new one, and his name is Silas, and we're going to meet with him today. And yes, you guys have seen it on Twitter. Very exciting. We're all pretending like he's not just adorable and right next to me. But I'm going to introduce you guys to him while I introduce you guys to the staff that's helping us today. We also hit our $1,000 donation goal. Thank you so much. Set Range, thank you for the 50. So we're going to start, one, by introducing Silas and introducing Rebecca, who's the curator as well. And she'll talk to you guys a little bit about Silas. I want to put this in your shirt or somewhere where he's not going to take it.
Sure. Hello. Well, this is Silas. He is a 10-week-old Canadian Rocky Mountain gray wolf, and he loves taking stuff. Possession is everything with them. He joined us around Memorial Day weekend. He was born at a facility that breeds wolves for captive purposes like zoos and places like ourselves. And as Maya just said, he is our newest ambassador, and he will be joining our other ambassador wolf, Nakai, in a couple of weeks, teaching people about wolves and changing minds and using that adorable, incredible face. He's very curious. He loves checking stuff out, exploring, like I said, taking stuff, destroying stuff, severing cords.
We gotta be very careful with our cords.
And if he finds this little pom-pom on this microphone, he's going to love it. Yeah.
We had him tucked into our shirts. Reagan. You guys know Reagan. You guys have met her before. Here, I can take that back.
Great.
All right. You can point at Reagan. She's going to introduce herself. Over there.
Hey everyone. Yes, great to see everyone again. My name is Regan. I'm the Director of Education here at the Wolf Conservation Center, and we are so excited to introduce you all to Silas. This is actually the first time he is seeing an audience live, even though it's virtual. And Silas is here, as Rebecca mentioned, to help us teach people all across the world about wolves. So in just a few weeks, he will actually be living in the enclosure that's behind us. He will be living with his brother, soon-to-be brother, Nakai. They are not siblings biologically, but they will be siblings in terms of they're a family. And together, they will help us reach a global audience and better teach people about wolves, the role they play in the environment, but also help cut away at some of those myths and misunderstandings people have about wolves. And in doing so, Silas and Nakai will also help people become more comfortable and confident advocating for wolves. So using their voices to speak up for wolves. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that throughout our time here with Silas. But he's already making an impact. He's been meeting people on a smaller scale. And actually just this morning, he met with team members from Relist Wolves, which is a campaign that is working to establish protections for wolves in areas across the country where they currently don't have them. So specifically gray wolves out in Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. And that is where Silas would be living if he was a wild wolf. So it's great to see the reach Silas already has at just 10 weeks old, and we're super excited to see how that reach continues to grow as he grows. And we'll see he's already, again, making good use of this area.
Enrichment.
Yes, wonderful enrichment in here. All of this was carefully created by Rebecca and our animal care team and our grounds team to really make sure Silas has a really wonderful time while he's here. He's being exposed to a lot of new things, and it's a great way to have him slowly adjust to living outside and then eventually moving full-time into our ambassador enclosure with his brother, Nakai. Rebecca, what is that?
The jawbone.
So last time we were here, we did a tour of like the whole facility. We saw some vet checks. We mostly talked about your recovery programs. We talked a little bit about your education programs, but what all do you guys do here in terms of education?
Sure. So education really supports everything the center does, and it supports other departments and other parts of our mission as well. And so our education department helps teach people about wolves. And it's a very simple statement, but there is a lot that goes into it because wolves have been a very polarizing animal for centuries, and people usually either love them or hate them, and we want people to respect them. And so wolves like Silas and Nakai, they help us teach people about wild wolves, because when people come here for a program and they see Silas, it might be the very first time they're ever seeing a wolf in person. And so that can help them better understand how wolves move, how they communicate, what they look like. Even with Silas right now, he's so curious about new things, but still also very shy and easily startled. And this is true for wolves even as they age. Wolves can often have a fear of new things, and they can be quite curious, but they're still going to have to work through things on their own. So we're seeing that, well, not right now. Right now he's scratching himself, but we're seeing Silas kind of working through that thought process when he's seeing the new camera, because he is very comfortable with Rebecca. He's very comfortable with people who have been part of his, nanny team. They're helping him acclimate and adjust. But it is also important that he becomes comfortable seeing new people, because in his role as an ambassador, here we go, he's pooping. In his role as an ambassador, we want people to see him and learn from him as well. So we just saw some great pooping from him there. But yeah, so Silas will see school children. We have our summer camp starting on Monday. So he will help educate a lot of people about wolves and our virtual community as well.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, they have a Twitch channel. You can check it out. They have live cams, just like we have live cams, except they're all wolves. Thank you for the $15 and the $5 donations. Thank you for your donations, you guys. There are a couple new people that, oh my gosh, so loud. A couple new people that have asked, they just got here, what kind of wolf is he again? And then some people are confused why there are people that don't like wolves. You want to talk about
Sure.
misconceptions?
So Silas is a gray wolf. Gray wolves are one of the most common species of wolf in the world. They actually occupy the entire northern hemisphere. And in the U.S., gray wolves are listed as an endangered species across the lower 48 states, with the exception of the northern Rockies. And that is actually where Silas would most likely be living if he were born in the wild. However, Silas was born in captivity, and because he was born in captivity, he cannot be released into the wild, so he came to live with us, and he came to help us reach people. And the next question was, why don't people like wolves?
Yeah.
So there have been, for centuries, a lot of stories about wolves, wolves being scary, wolves being dangerous, and people tend to assume that those stories are true. Think about stories like Little Red Riding Hood, The Three Little Pigs. The wolf is usually the villain. And we know those stories aren't meant to accurately display animal behavior. But oftentimes people know that the wolf is scary and they assume that a wolf will be scary in real life.
Yeah.
And then when European settlers arrived in North America hundreds of years ago, rather than coexisting with wolves, as was done before they arrived on, the whole, they began killing wolves. And this led to just continued persecution, killing wolves for fun, out of fear and misunderstanding. But there is no reason to fear wolves. In the last 100 years across all of North America, only 2 people have been killed by healthy wolves. To really put it into perspective, you're actually more likely to be killed by a vending machine falling on top of you.
Oh my gosh.
Than by
That's
a wolf.
crazy stat.
So we tend not to focus on why people are afraid of wolves, but we also try to highlight why wolves are so wonderful,
Yeah.
and why it's important to respect them. So we don't want you to think wolves are super cute and they can live at home with you as a pet, but we do want people to understand that they're vital members of healthy ecosystems, and that they have thoughts and feelings and emotions just like we do, and they are important to their families and to their friends, and so we should respect them and treat them as we would treat our fellow humans.
Yeah. There were a bunch of donations that came through. Dr. Mingeberg, Nightlife, Quasler, Saden Olorian. Thank you guys for the donations. There were a bunch of donations. Thank you so much. No, we don't need a vending machine ambassador. I appreciate all of your guys' donations today. Muzzy, thank you for the $25. Today we're using the Twitch charity feature, so if you want to donate, it is the same place as the sub button is for desktop users. It's at the top of the chat. If you're a mobile user, you can do Command Tip, and your donations will go straight to Wolf Conservation Center today. Thank you so much. I think he saw a bug. He's looking at it. You guys, I'm gonna test your knowledge. Are you ready? Are you any wolf experts in chat? We're gonna do some polls. What do you think? What do you think? Thank you for donating $5 and the $25. Thank you so much. So we'll talk a little more about the recovery programs they do here with Mexican gray wolves and with red wolves, and I'm gonna ask you some questions about them. Okay, are you ready? Number 1, how many Mexican gray wolves are left in the wild? Is it A, 10 individuals, B, 131 individuals, C, 241 individuals, or D, 821 individuals? You should have to type A, B, C, or D in chat. Yum, grass. He's eating. Thank you for the $25. Thank you for the $5. A lot of people saying B. This is how many gray wolves, Mexican gray wolves, are left in the wild. Thank you for the $5 and the $25 donations. Thank you for the $5 donation. That guy has wolf in his username. Awesome. And Tracer, thank you for the $15 donation. – 53% said B, 131 individuals. And 30% said C, 241 individuals. Well, 30% of you are right. He's like, what is this guy doing? Running around with the camera, following me. It's a paparazzi. The correct answer is C. It is 241 individual Mexican gray wolves left in the wild. Petrock, thank you for the $10 donation. Maddie, thank you for the $25 donation. So that is not a lot, and so we're going to talk about the work that they do here that supports those animals. Thank you for the $10, Maddie. Thank you for the $25. Question number 2. How many red wolves are left in the wild? There are 241 gray wolves. How many red wolves are left in the wild? Is it A, 5 individuals, B, 14 individuals, C, 28 individuals, or D, 110 individuals? Neon, thank you for the 5. Axel, thank you for the 15. Pet Rock, 10. Maddie, 25. Thank you guys so much. A shoe.
Shoelace.
Shoelace. Yum. Could you repeat that space? Sorry. 2% said A, 33% said B, 45% said C, and 20% said D. The correct answer is B, 14 individual red wolves left in the wild. These shoes are trash. I mean, they're so trash. It's fine. It's so fine. So there are 14 individual red wolves left in the wild. I'm not going to disturb you. You can continue what you're doing. I'm just going to sit here. Okay, 14 individual red wolves left in the wild. Next up, we have, oh no. Next up, we have how much do Mexican gray wolves weigh? I don't know these answers. They're not memorized. Is it A, 25 to 35 pounds, B, 45 to 55 pounds, C, 55 to 65 pounds, or D, 65 to 85 pounds? How much do Mexican gray wolves weigh? What do you think? How much does he weigh right now? Do you know?
He was 19 and a half pounds like a day or so ago.
Oh, it's little.
Approaching 20 pretty quick.
All right. Thank you for the $5 donation. I'm Bori. Thank you for the $20. All right, lots of guesses. I see a lot of C's in here. 50% think it's C, 55 to 65 pounds. 34% say D. All right, how much do Mexican gray wolves weigh? The correct answer, drum roll everybody, is D, 65 to 85 pounds. How much do you guys project him to weigh? You don't know yet?
Anywhere between wide range, but I'd say 80 to 100. He's a pretty big
80 to
now.
100,
He's
wow.
a pretty big puppy right now, and he's a little heavier than Nakai was at this age.
Oh my
so,
gosh.
Yeah, I'd say within that range.
Stealthy, thank you for the $50. Soccer with $5. Experimental with $15. Thank you so much. Yum. Wow, you're in there, huh? She's now my whole ankle, okay? All right, how much do red wolves weigh then? That was Mexican gray wolves. How much do red wolves weigh? Is it A, 20 to 40 pounds, B, 45 to 80 pounds, C, 85 to 90 pounds, or D, 100 to 125 pounds? We hit $1,500 in donations. Thank you guys so much. You're rich, buddy. Thank you for the $10, Hurricane. Thank you for the 50, Frankie. Thank you for the 5.
Just donated $10 to Wolf Conservation Center.
That's nice. That's so nice.
Frankie from 87 just donated $5 to Wolf
Not
Conservation.
20% said D. 35% said B. Good job. 35%. Okay, never mind. 44% of you said C. The correct answer is B. You good down there? Is B, 45 to 80 pounds. I need that to talk to my producer. 45 to 80 pounds is correct. Red wolves weigh 45 to 80 pounds. Very nice. Okay, last question, everybody. We were talking earlier about the misconceptions that wolves face, why people don't like wolves, or why people think wolves are a problem in some places. In areas where wolves and livestock coexist, what % of available livestock do wolves take? Is it A, 0.1%, B, 1%, C, 10%, or D, 100% of available livestock? Ooh, a sand pit. That's so fun. Southie, thank you for the 15. Unknown, thank you for the 5. Frankie, thank you for the 5. %60 of you so far are saying A. Oh, he found, oh, there's a bird.
A bird?
Yeah. You better scoot.
Wayne Brownbird just donated $5 to Wolf Conservation Center.
31% said B, 1%, 54% said A, 0.1%. The correct answer is A, 0.1% of available livestock where wolves and livestock coexist are taken by wolves. Very good, you guys. That's all the poll questions that I had for you. Thank you. You guys are pretty good. It's not bad. I'm kind of impressed. Finally an answer right. Hooray! Good job. Good job. So, can you... What? Yes, he is. Sorry, he's looking at a bird shot. Sorry, you can't hear what Space is saying. Could you talk about the recovery programs that you guys have going here?
Sure. So we participate in 2 federally run recovery programs, one for Mexican gray wolves, one for red wolves. And these are independently known as SAFE programs. So that acronym stands for Saving Animals from Extinction. And they're also overseen by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. And we participate in both, and we have since the early 2000s. We are currently home to 10 critically endangered red wolves and 19 endangered Mexican gray wolves. Oh!
Wow.
So going for a little bit of a swim. And just to step back quickly from the recovery programs, talk about this. So wolves actually love water, and it's a great way to cool them off. And in the wild, they can actually swim very far distances, and they'll catch food. So it's fun giving Silas the opportunity to cool off, maybe drink the water if he wants to, but also kind of have some fun splashing around. You'll also see his soon-to-be brother is kind of peeking out as well. So Nakai is living in the neighboring enclosure. Nakai is 9 years old, and he's also a gray wolf. And he's experienced a bit of a rough last few days. His sister actually passed away Wednesday night. Her name was Alewa. And we imagine he's very excited to have Silas eventually come live with him, because wolves are quite social and they form family bonds that are just as strong as our family bonds. And he's been going through a bit of a grieving period. He also lost his older brother a year ago. And having Silas here, I think, is a nice welcome distraction for him. And having people here as well. You know, he really, he's used to having people here. He's used to seeing newcomers. But I think once Silas joins, it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of play, some roughhousing, and I think Silas will enjoy it as well.
Yay. Is that bird still?
Yeah.
It's, that's why he's really, I mean, he's really intent on that bird.
But so yeah, so these 2 would be kind of one of our family groups, and we do have many others. The rest of our wolves do belong to those red wolf or Mexican gray wolf recovery programs. And the goal of both of those programs is to release wolves into the wild. So all of our red wolves and Mexican gray wolves that live here are considered to be pre-release candidates, which means they could be released into the wild, into their ancestral ranges at a moment's notice. So Rebecca, as the WCC curator, she is kind of the main contact or the liaison with AZA, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and she will provide information on the wolves here, if we have wolves born, their birth dates, and that information all plays into potential releases as well. So for example, one of our Mexican gray wolves named Trumpet gave birth to pups earlier this spring. She gave birth to a litter of 6, and 5 of those pups were actually chosen to be cross-fostered, which is when captive-born wolves are placed with a wild family that has pups the same age. And it's a great way to give those pups the opportunity to grow up wild. And so 5 of those pups went. We still have 1 pup remaining. He has been nicknamed Kazoo because his mom's name is Trumpet. And so with those cross-fostered siblings, they were placed with 2 separate families in the Southwest. And the goal is that they will grow up wild. They'll never have to see a fence. But we wish that for all of the adult wolves here as well. So we're hoping that family group releases, adult releases can resume, because every wolf should have the opportunity to live in the wild if there is a place in the wild for them.
Right.
So for a wolf like Silas, he's not able to be released into the wild. So that is why he is here as an ambassador. But every other wolf here besides Nakai could be released. And so part of our mission really is to not just educate in terms of teaching people about wolves, but educate about the current situation facing wolves in the wild, and really inspire people to use that knowledge to speak up for wolves once they leave. So use their voices as well.
Cool. Yeah, the way this facility is set up is really cool, guys. I know some of you saw it when we were here last time, but they have a large part of their facility is not open to the public. Like the public can't go back there and see these wolves because they're release candidates. And then they have this area up front with the ambassadors, and they do education programs here. So it's a really cool setup. And with the polls that you guys just did, 241 Mexican gray wolves in the wild and about 14 red wolves in the wild are alarmingly low numbers. And so it's vital, it's massive what they're doing here. It's very, very cool. So people that are supporting what they're doing here, Alexale with $1, and Corvus with $15, and Gray with $5, and Shadow with $1, and Stealthy with $15, and Mallard with $5, and Frankie with $5. Thank you guys so much for your donations. We're going through the Twitch charity donation tool today. So if you want to donate, the sub link, or the sub button, if you're on desktop, is a donate button now. He's suspicious of the camera. And or it's at the top of chat for desktop users. For mobile users, you can do command tip and it'll send you to a URL to donate. This is a nonprofit, so it's just like Alveus. Those donations really matter. Hi, bud. Oh, not the... Please don't sever my cords. He loves this notebook. He really likes the notebook. You're very wet. And the boots. He likes the boots. Do you guys have questions you want me to throw out? We're going to do a Q&A at the end too, so if you have a question that you want answered, oh my gosh, you can do #ask followed by your question, and we'll answer them at the end of the stream. Thank you for the $10 donation. Any questions? Any questions? Why is he chewing? Is a question.
Well, just like a puppy, he's teething. He's got puppy teeth still. And so just like your dog puppy likes to chew on everything and anything, he's going through the same stage in life. Yet, because he's a wolf pup, it's a lot more intense. And he's a lot more demanding.
Exploratory chewing. He found it.
He pounced on that.
I know, really. He's like, I'm going to get that. All right, let's see. What are the biggest risks to wolf populations at the moment?
Great question. So the biggest risks would primarily be humans, and that really tracks for any population of wolves. Mexican gray wolves and red wolves, even though they're a federally endangered and protected species, they do still face high risks of poaching and even just, vehicle collisions, so things caused by humans. But for wolves in states like Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, where they're not protected, those states do have hunting seasons, and they're actually quite brutal. So in Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, people can hunt wolves just like Silas. And in Idaho and Wyoming, they can actually run them over with snowmobiles. It's a perfectly legal way to kill wolves in those states. And in Montana, there's now baiting of wolves, so using food to lure wolves into a certain area so you can kill them. And so what we see with wolves, when people are wanting to kill them, it's for no scientific reason, obviously for no ethical reason. It's more so for trophy hunting and for sport killing. So that is one of the things we're primarily focused on. Beyond the red wolves and Mexican gray wolves here, we do want people to understand that wolf recovery rests in the hands of people. There are several bills that have been introduced that would call for the delisting of wolves, removing them from the endangered species list. And we see that when that happens, it just leads to more killing. So we want wolves in areas to remain protected because they... the best science says that they need to be protected in order to better reach their recovery goals. And these recovery goals need to be updated based on new science and new metrics. So it's an ever-evolving process. But even at the end of the day, even if there are so many wolves out in the wild, it doesn't mean they should be killed. There's no reason to kill wolves. And that's something we also want people to understand as well. That they're, again, thinking, feeling beings. They're animals just like us. And they have great value to us, and it's not by killing them. But wolves face other challenges as well with red wolves and Mexican gray wolves because they both stem from a very small founding population size. Genetic diversity is a problem. Right now, wild Mexican gray wolves are roughly as related to one another as full siblings. And so increasing diversity is one of the main concerns, and that can be done by releasing adults from captivity, releasing family groups from captivity, because wolves here can often be a bit more diverse than the populations that they would be released into. So that would be a wonderful way to help as well.
Nice. Someone asked, what age do they start howling?
Oh, Silas is quite the howler, and he's been chatty for
we
weeks
did hear him
already.
howl this morning.
So he's been quite the chatterbox, and we actually see a variety of vocalizations from him. He whines, he whimpers, he squeaks, but he does like to howl. And so he will sometimes howl with the other wolves here, but he likes kind of some nice, not too high-pitched, but he likes some low howls. So maybe when he's not distracted by his plant, maybe we'll see if we can squeak out some howls with him.
Plastic pot.
See it in your face. See it in your face.
Let's see. Oh yeah, someone asked, when will Silas be ready to live with Nakai? I think you touched on that earlier.
So Rebecca is hoping that by mid-July, he'll be ready and able to live with Nakai. And what will be wonderful is Silas has interacted with people, and he's learned from humans. He's learning not to be afraid of people, but Nakai will be able to teach him a few more wolfy things, which will be fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for the $5 donation. Dan with $10, Jane with $1, Chef with $20, Tella Shandy $10. Thank you guys for your donations. Disclosing asked, do wolves wag their tails like dogs do?
They do wag their tails when they're excited, so you will certainly see that. So wolves and dogs are actually...
Yeah, I know. This is why you don't wear hats with wolves.
So wolves and dogs...
I wanted that.
I've never worn a hat with him. He's like,
Oh
wow.
boy.
And actually the hat Silas was chewing on is for
yeah.
our Run Like a Wolf campaign. So starting in August, this is our 4th year doing Run Like a Wolf. We are doing a fundraiser, and we are encouraging folks to start walking, running, biking, all to raise awareness and raise funds for wolves. So if you visit our website or our Twitch channel, you'll see a Run Like a Wolf sign-up page. And you can pick a wolf team to be on. And over the course of the month, you're just encouraged to walk or run 100 miles or bike 200. And you'll receive a finisher's medal, and there's various prizes as well. And general registration opens today. So if anyone is interested, our website and our social channels do have more information. And we're trying to figure out how Silas can participate as well, because I'm sure he'll blow everyone out of the water.
That's awesome. Chris, thank you for the $100 donation. Cyborg, thank you for the $25 donation. Amazing. Guys, if you want to donate, it is the sub button is the donate button today, or it's at the top of the chat. Or you can do command tip if you're a mobile user. All your donations go straight to Wolf Conservation Center to support the work that they're doing here. Very, very cool. Someone asked if you guys have any favorite cool wolf social behaviors that you would like to share.
Huh. I mean, I think we're a little biased. We tend to think they're all cool. But I think what's been exciting, Rebecca's been here raising pups for a very long time, but what's been really fun for a lot of our staff, because our staff has more than doubled in size over the last few years, we haven't had an ambassador pup growing up since Nakai was here 9 years ago. And so it's been fun for all of us just witnessing pup growth, really up close and personal. And so really everything Silas does is cute, kind of like with a newborn baby. We're just in awe of all of it. But I know I'm most excited to watch him to continue to develop once he's living with Nakai. I think it will be very interesting and exciting to watch him grow from a young puppy that looks a lot like a German Shepherd to grow very quickly into a fully grown wolf. And that will be, I think, most fun for me. But we do also enjoy hearing him howl. He's very eager to howl, and he's actually started responding to visitor howls as well during programs. And so that's fun too. I think it's a nice reminder that even though we are different species, there is an overlap, and it's always very cool to have a wolf try to communicate with you in the way they know how. So howls are always really great.
I think there are some new people, because a lot of people have asked, what is it? How old is he? What's his name? Why is he there? You just give like a brief introduction of who he is now that he's in frame and playing with a leaf.
So this is Silas. Silas is the Wolf Conservation Center's newest ambassador wolf, which means he is here as a teacher and an educator. And he is 10 weeks old. He was born on April 21st, and he has lived with us for the last few weeks. And he was actually named through a naming contest. So we felt quite strongly that the ambassador wolves here don't belong to us, they belong to everyone. And we wanted the world to have the opportunity to weigh in on a name. And we had over 3,000 submissions, and we narrowed down to kind of the top 4. And Silas won out. It means of the woods, of the forest, and we thought it was a very fitting name for a young wolf who in the wild would have great impacts on maintaining healthy wild forests, but here he also loves trees. So this is Silas, and he will be living with us for his entire life. But right now he's in his socialization phase, which means he is working on getting used to visitors, which is why he's able to interact with all of us right now. When he goes to live in his kind of adult enclosure with his older brother, human contact from then on will be limited just to members of his animal care team. But right now, he's meeting as many people as possible to really get used to seeing new visitors.
It's so cute. I love that name. It's such a good name. Toten with $50, Eurosic with $100. We've hit our $2,000 donation goal. You guys, thank you so much if you're donating today. I really appreciate that. I'm sorry. Someone asked if I put sugar on my boots. No, I didn't. He just likes them because they're different. They're new and different. Okay, we've been in the Q&A section. I've just been like throwing questions at you. But you guys, if you have questions that you would like to ask, you can do #ask followed by your question. And I'm going to start putting some of them on screen. So one of them here is, what do the wolves eat here?
Rebecca, do you want to tackle that, or would you?
Yeah, so, thank you. So Silas and Nakai have a very flexible menu. As Regan mentioned, they will be with us for their entire lives and not be released to the wild. So we get a lot of food, all of our food actually donated.
Nice.
Yeah, we're very lucky. We get Whole Foods donates food.
Oh, that's
There's an organic market that's local to us called Mom's Organic Market. And every week, one of our super volunteers goes and picks up donated meat. The wolves actually eat much better than the staff do. So they have a flexible diet of beef, chicken, fish, pork, whatever, all sorts of different things.
If that wasn't donated, that would be
Oh, it would,
pricey.
we don't pay for food and veterinary care. We're very lucky.
Veterinary, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
we
we're
have
so
an
lucky.
incredible team of volunteer veterinarians that care for all our wolves. So yeah, 2 things that we would have an immense bill for. So I'm always
That is awesome.
forever grateful to our veterinarians and our food sources. So like I said, so Silas and Nakai has a very flexible menu. Our other wolves that reside here, though, the Mexican and the red wolves, because they may have the potential to be released to the wild, we obviously don't want to give them anything livestock related. So they have a very strict diet of only roadkill deer, which we get from our local roads. The police call us when there's one hit by a car. The highway departments, DOT, Good Samaritans. In our public programs, I know that our visitors are told that we're always looking for deer. So my phone is always ringing off the hook with locations of deer, and we go and pick them up. Yeah, we have big walk-in freezers where we store them. And yeah, so they get a natural diet, they get the whole carcass, which encourages a lot of natural behaviors as well. So it's also great enrichment in addition to great nutrition. And occasionally we'll get a beaver or a wild turkey, and they can also have fish. So most of our wolves here, like I said, eat just a natural diet, whole carcass diet, and then these two have all sorts of goodies that are given to them.
Very cool. Here, can I grab this? Sorry. I didn't have the mic, guys. Knight donated $1,000. Thank you so much for the $1,000 donation. I did see it. Cameraman's feet.
You're approaching the rocks.
Okay, wonderful question though. Thank you. Someone asked how big Silas would get. They had said up to 100 pounds, right? He's
between 80 and 100.
Between 80 and 100 pounds. So he'll get pretty big. Right now he's almost 20 pounds. Let's see. Some people are asking what the process is for introducing wolves here. So introducing Silas and Nakai.
Well, we don't get ambassador wolves very often. We try to accomplish our mission on the education side with as few wolves as possible, because obviously we are about breeding endangered wolves and getting them back on the landscape. So like Regan had mentioned earlier, the last time we got an ambassador wolf was 9 years ago, which was Nakai. So it's been a long time since we've done this. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But good work, and he's a lot of fun and adorable, obviously. So what we do is when we get a pup like this, we spend the first, let me back up a little bit. In order to socialize a wolf for education reasons like we are, basically what we're doing is we're diminishing his fear of people. Wolves are born with a natural fear of people, as they should, because they were persecuted for so long. So what we do is just we're diminishing it. We're not getting rid of it. They will always have an inherent fear of people and man-made things. But by doing this, we kind of decrease that. We try to get him used to as many things as possible, different people, different items, different sounds, different substrates, so that when people do visit us, they get to experience a wolf, and they get to look into his eyes and howl with him, and like I said earlier, he's the one that really changed minds and teaches people. So this process is long. He has a nanny team that is with him 24 hours a day. He's never left alone. There's always someone with him all night, all day, and we have a team. Yeah, like I said, it's a lot of work. He's only left alone when someone has to go to the bathroom, and that's it. And I take him in the car sometimes, again, just to get him used to stuff. He's very young right now and sort of like an open book. So right now is a very critical time to get him used to things, because that book will soon close, because he is a wolf after all. And already I see he is definitely forming opinions of his own. And so the process lasts a couple of months. It really depends on the animal and the situation we're in and what's going on. And by mid-July, we hope to have him in with Nakai, his adult new older brother, and integrated with him. But yeah, so like I said, this process is intense. He's about to take that book, but he got distracted by a bird. He loves looking up and looking at stuff.
And just to jump in with what Rebecca was saying, in this nursery area, we have a lot of natural enrichment just with birds and people, but we also have a lot of human-created enrichment that has been placed. We also have a camper/trailer up here that will allow for Silas's dedicated team of pup nannies to actually have an indoor place to go if they're spending the night up here or if there's poor weather. And it was actually very generously donated to us on loan from Imperial Outdoors. It's an outdoor gear trailer company. And this camper is actually fully functional off-grid for a few months. So it's been a really wonderful way for us to kind of help Silas and the team adjust comfortably. Before we had a camper like this with Nakai, we actually had a wooden shed on stilts. And this is definitely an upgrade. So we're very thankful that we're having a lot of people pitch in, because raising an ambassador pup really does take an army. And it's wonderful that we've received so much support in so many ways. So we're very thankful for that.
Very cool. There was a $500 donation from Save Wolves. Thank you. Notorious with $10, High with 15, Renak with 15. Thank you guys so much for the donations. I really appreciate that. We're at $3,500 in donations. Amazing, amazing. There are some people who have asked a variation of, do they make bad pets? How involved are they in the illegal pet trade?
Yeah.
Wolves as pets. What's the difference between wolves and dogs? Stuff like that.
Sure. So we love wolves, but they do make horrible pets. So we definitely would not recommend getting a wolf as a pet. With Silas here, as Rebecca said, this primary goal these last few weeks and over the next few weeks is really just to socialize him.
Yeah.
But he still has all of the natural instincts of a wolf. He's been chewing on boots. He's been stealing books. So he is not an animal that we would want to train, nor is he an animal that would really take well to training, because wolves are meant to be wild animals. So we always encourage people to adopt dogs. Many dogs in this country need homes, and they can be adopted at shelters, and you could give a dog an amazing life. And dogs and wolves are incredibly similar. They share about 98% of their DNA. As Rebecca mentioned, we receive free veterinary care. None of our veterinarians have specialized in taking care of wolves. They take care of dogs.
Right.
And so we're able to make those adjustments pretty easily because they're so similar. So don't get a wolf as a pet, get a dog. I know in some states, legal requirements can vary. But even if you are legally allowed to have a wolf as a pet, or even legally allowed to have a wolf-dog hybrid as a pet, we do not encourage it. It is very challenging to take care of wolves, wolf-dog hybrids, and you should not be trying to force them to assimilate to your way of life. They have their own way of life that is best for them. So unfortunately, we do often see that many people who have wolves or wolf-dog hybrids as pets, whether legally or illegally, they do often end up needing to surrender these animals. And it can be hard to find a rescue organization that has space or has the ability to care for those animals. So if you do want a wolf as a pet, just get a dog. And you can watch Silas on video. But we would not keep Silas as a pet, nor would we recommend that you keep a wolf as a pet. Rebecca shaking her head, the nightmare that would be. No.
we have parrots, and I do the same speech all the
Yep.
time. It's like, oh, we love them so much, but I would hate to have one of them in my house.
Yep.
No, I can't imagine. Wolf, thank you for the $400 donation. Goodwin with $50, Richard with $5, Knight with $5, Treelor with $5, Dia Triangles, Miniman with $100. Thank you so much. That got us over the $4,000 goal. He is chilling out. All right, Silas. Amazing.
Little tail wag going too.
Guys, these are really great questions. Thank you so much for all of your questions. I know we won't get to all of them, but I do appreciate them. I liked this one. Luke asked, what are wolves' role in the ecological system?
Great question. So wolves are what we would call a keystone species. And there are many animals that are a keystone species. So it's not just wolves, but essentially a keystone species has a huge impact on everything that lives in an area. And this can be through direct impacts. So an example with wolves of a direct impact would be wolves preying upon elk, deer, animals like that. And an indirect impact would be, if you're not having as many deer or elk, but you're then decreasing the number of herbivores, you might see a change in plant life, or maybe there's more food available for other animals. And so wolves would kind of touch everything in an area, directly or indirectly. And that is one of the reasons we push for wolf protection, wolf recovery in this changing world that we live in as climate is changing and ecosystems are being destroyed. It's very important to maintain biodiversity and to maintain as healthy of an ecosystem as possible. So beyond, releasing and recovering wolves for their own welfare, we do really depend on wolves to maintain our welfare and safety as well. And so that is a wonderful reason to protect wolves, and oftentimes with wolves, because they are a species that is very discussed, and they are becoming more and more politicized. Depending on who you're talking to, you have many different talking points to raise awareness and kind of instill a greater appreciation for wolves. Because if someone maybe isn't the biggest fan of wolves, but they really enjoy their forests and outdoor areas, talking about wolves as a keystone species might really make a difference in how they think about wolves. So it's nice to be able to tailor talking points as well. And Silas hears Nakai, his soon-to-be brother, kind of whimpering and whining in the distance. And so he's actually moved a bit closer to stare at him as well.
Nice.
Which is nice.
Axial, thank you for the $25. Crowned Eye donated $1,111.11. Thank you for the donation, Crowned Eye. That is insane. Akoya, thank you for the $5. Zarath with $15. Thank you guys so much. We're at $5,332 raised. That is amazing. Thank you. Okay, let me move. I'm gonna move a little bit. Oh, is there a bird? No, he's just just looking for his friend. Okay. Let's see what other questions. Some people have asked. Zombie said, "What is the average lifespan of a wolf in the wild versus in captivity?"
Great question. So average lifespans in the wild can vary depending on where wolves live. If they're living in a protected area like a national park, they might live a bit longer than a wolf that's living in Montana or Wyoming. But in general, we see the average lifespan. You'll see Nakai moving as well, and Silas is looking at him.
Oh.
Some whining. So this is all, and these are really good signs. They're both very interested, very curious about each other. And so it should be a very fun kind of introduction. But average lifespans in the wild can be about 4 to 8 years. Sometimes wolves will live up to 10 or 13 years old, which is incredible. Recently, actually, there were some red wolves that passed away in the wild. And they were 13, 14 years old. So that's incredible. In centers like ours, though, you can see wolves live up to 16 years. So very similar to a dog in their lifespan. But that's because they're not facing those wild challenges. They're not being killed by people. They're not starving. So you can kind of see a bit of a natural increase in lifespan.
MX, thank you for the $15. Cred with $15. Pixie with $5. Landers with $10. Sam with $5. Solo with $15. And Cumbie with $500. Thank you guys for your donations. Again, if you're just clicking in here, we're at the Wolf Conservation Center with Silas, who is their ambassador wolf puppy right now. He's 10 weeks old. About 10 weeks old. He's about 20 pounds. He'll get to be maybe even 100 pounds. And Wolf Conservation Center does advocacy, recovery, and education for wolves in North America. They have a recovery program for red wolves, of which there are only 14 left in the wild, and Mexican gray wolves, which there are 240 left in the wild. So they do really, really important work, and Silas is an important part of their education program that you guys are kind of a part of right now, because we've just been learning about wolves and talking about wolves. And if you have questions, you can do hashtag ask followed by your question. Someone asked, "Can I visit?"
Yes, you can visit. Great question. So yes, we are open to the public, but through scheduled programs. We want every visitor to have a wonderful experience while they're here, but also a very informative and educational experience. So we offer education programs every weekend throughout the year. We also offer Sleeping with Wolves programs. So if anyone would like to spend the night here, we do have tents for, quote, rent. And we offer these programs on Fridays and Saturdays throughout the summer, and Saturdays through October. And it would be a wonderful way to see Nakai and to see Silas as the season goes on. So if you visit nywolf.org, you'll be able to sign up for programs. And you'll see Nakai is approaching the fence. Nakai is quite shy. Rebecca mentioned that even though wolves are socialized here, the ambassador wolves are socialized, they do still show caution, wariness around humans, and Nakai is especially shy. He always has been. So it is a great way for us to discuss just even all wolves have their own personalities as well. So just because they're all raised, quote, the same way does not mean they are going to behave the same. And it's a wonderful way to really highlight their own unique personalities. They are their own wolves. So we can do as much as we can, but it doesn't always mean we're going to end up with, you know, the same wolf every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys have seen that at Alveus with pretty much all of the species that we have. We have one that's like really into it and exuberant, and one that's just like off to the side. There's Abbott and Coconut, you guys, and Momo and Appa and all that. We got some big donations tonight with $100, Kyoto with $100, Kiki with $5, MX with $15, Cred with $15, Pixie with $5. Thank you so much. We're going through the Twitch charity tool today, so if you want to donate, it's where the sub button normally is, or it's at the top of your chat. If you're a mobile user, you can do Command Tip, and it'll send you to the donation page. That way, we have hit our $6,000 donation goal today. Thank you so much for all of your donations. That is amazing. You guys are amazing. Okay. Let's see a couple more questions. Some of these we've already answered. If you asked a question, I'm not answering it. You can check back in the VOD to see if it was already answered. Someone asked how big this center is.
Oh, that's a good question. So in terms of like acreage,
Yeah.
we're about 32 acres.
Nice.
We were officially founded as a nonprofit in 1999, and one of our current offices is our founder's house, Helene Grimaud. She's a classical pianist. She and her then partner founded the center. And in terms of wolves, our numbers fluctuate. We have had over 50 wolves at one point. Right now, we are sitting at 32, 33, 31. Oh, never 31. And that is, I would say, a pretty good number. We tend to have larger numbers when wolves have pups, but as wolves grow and they reach adulthood, it can be hard to have, 11 wolves in an enclosure. While it's fine if you're having 11 and 9 are puppies, if you're having 11 and they're all adults, you do tend to see just some natural signs of wanting to disperse occur. And because we participate in these captive breeding programs that span the country, with Mexican wolves, they even span across the border to Mexico. We might have wolves that leave our center and go live somewhere else, or they come back to, or another wolf comes to live with us. So our numbers can change. Right now, our numbers will, knock on wood, stay constant until the fall, because if some of our wolves are leaving for new adventures or we're receiving wolves, that's when our numbers would fluctuate.
Nice. So guys, it's about twice the size of Alveus, for those EU folks who don't use acres. Okay, let's see. This one's fun. Set Range asked, what type of enrichment do you do here and what is their favorite?
Sure. That's a good question. Let's see. I got to think on it a bit. So again, because we have two different types of populations of wolves here, our ambassador wolves, so Silas and Nakai, because they're never going to be released to the wild, we can give them all sorts of different kinds of enrichment. They love to destroy cardboard boxes full of goodies. They love stuffed animals, pillows. We once gave Atka, who's one of our previous ambassador wolves, a couch, and he proved very quickly why wolves are not pets. And they're great because they don't actually consume things, but they will destroy things. So I'm always looking for new and innovative enrichment. Nakai is now 9 years old, and he has seen everything under the sun. I've done bubbles, mirrors. They love different scents, perfumes, essential oils. The stinkier, the better. Atka, again, he was a traveling ambassador wolf, and one of his favorite scents on the road was Axe body spray, which, for whatever reason, a lot of middle schoolers seem to carry on them. So we used to use it a lot on programs. So yeah, so the stinkier it is, the more unique it is. That they love stuff like that. And obviously with one another. So our other wolves that are potential for release to the wild, I'm quite limited in what I can give them, because if they are released to the wild, we don't want them going on people's porches and stealing their pumpkin or stealing their Christmas tree or their dog stuffed animal. So I can only give them natural items. So I do give them natural scents. Sometimes what I'll do is if I get a rat donation or something, or rabbits, I'll hide them in the enclosure so they have to look for them. Like I mentioned earlier, carcass feeding in itself is really great enrichment. It not only provides what they need nutritionally, but it offers great stimulation mentally and physically. And these big packs, we now have a pack, the pack that Regan was talking about earlier with our Mexican wolf pup, Kazoo. That pack consists of 4 generations right now. It's a lot. So they have older and younger brothers to play with and learn from and get discipline from. So that is amazing enrichment. I think that in itself is the greatest enrichment we can provide for these animals, because it's natural and it really best prepares them for a life in the wild and a life of having pups of their own.
Yeah, that is a great question. Thank you, Set Range. Kenny, thank you for the $5. Jericho with $50. 2020 with $25, and Maya with $100. Thank you guys so much for your donations. The only question that I had written that I was going to ask you guys was, what can the average person do to advocate for wolves?
That's a great question. So there are many ways to advocate, and they kind of hit all comfort levels. So the easiest way to speak up for wolves is simply to tell friends and family. Whether or not you live in a state that has wolves, not many states in the U.S. do have wolves. You might know someone in a state that does have wolves, or you just might have friends and family that have always thought wolves were scary. And so making sure they have a better appreciation of wolves is important, helping them understand their true nature. But if you're willing to take your love of wolves a bit further and make a bit of a bigger impact, we highly recommend either visiting our website or visiting Relist Wolves on their website to actually reach out to your elected officials, a representative, and really encourage them to support wolves. As I said, there have been several bills that have been introduced that would delist wolves, would remove their protections, and that would be very dangerous for wolves in the wild. So Relist Wolves has some great forms to fill out. They're very easy to do. You can also visit our website and reach out to the federal government and urge them to protect wolves that live in the Northern Rockies via an emergency relisting, and that would be a wonderful way to speak up. And again, these things are very simple. You can do them while you're on your computer right now, while you're online. We're getting some ice in the pond, a fun enrichment moment. So yes, using your voice for wolves and really trying to get those protections restored would be wonderful. And even if wolves aren't in your state, consider asking your elected representatives to still be vocal for wolves and still be vocal for science and science-based wildlife policy as well.
There is some people were linking the, Set Range was linking it, what's it called? The Action Center on WCC's
Oh, thank you.
website.
Perfect.
Who's your ASMR without him taking the mic? You just keep doing what you're doing. I'm just here. Oh. Yes, nice. All right. Well, I'll ask a couple more questions while we're watching Silas with his enrichment. He's got an ice cube. He's taken it somewhere. Somebody really asked, if you encounter a wolf in the wild, what should you do?
Oh, if you encounter a wolf in the wild, honestly, depending on the distance, I would first say take a picture because it's very rare to see wolves in the wild. And as we know, wolves are not threats to people. So if you have stumbled across a wolf in the wild, you most likely have literally stumbled across it, meaning you startled it, it did not hear you coming for whatever reason, and the wolf's going to run away. Wolves do not want to be near people. If for some reason you feel as though the wolf or, coyote, any other type of wild animal might be getting too close to you, you can always make noise. make yourself appear really big. It's called hazing, and it's a great way to encourage wildlife to stay away from humans. So if you're wearing a jacket, you can hold your jacket up over your body, yell, wave your arms, anything just to make yourself appear noisy. And something that animal would not want to approach. But with wolves, again, because there are so few in the wild, they don't occupy a huge portion of their natural range. Honestly, if you're feeling comfortable, I would say take a picture. But of course, we want to respect wildlife, so I would never knowingly approach wolves. It's more so if you see one way across the field through a spotting scope, binoculars, just always respect wildlife and their distance, but also appreciate the moment for what it is, a wonderful and rare encounter with an amazing animal.
Thank you for the $5 donated. Prow. Thank you for the 25. Kaboomafu. Thank you for the 15. I can't find I can't find an example to put on screen, but a bunch of people have asked how you determine what a candidate for release is here.
Oh, do you want?
Another good question. So like we said earlier, our wolves for release are primarily living off exhibit here. So they live a very wild existence, eating roadkill deer, so the food that they would be eating in the wild. And many of them are in multi-generational packs, which is also what would be natural in the wild. So when we choose a candidate for release, I get to know these animals because I take care of them. So I always try to choose an individual that is the shyest, that is the weariest. Just like we said earlier, you know, wolves are individuals. They have personalities, whether they're socialized or not. They are who they are. So we will get wolves that, even though they've lived their entire existence off exhibit and without seeing people, they're naturally bold, they're naturally curious. So that kind of individual, if his curiosity is with the humans and with our equipment, that little puppy's too much. That's not a candidate that I would recommend for release, because it's only going to get that individual in trouble out there, or worse, killed. So the wolves that we've always chosen are those that are the shyest, and that kind of stand back and really want nothing to do with people at all whatsoever.
How many wolves have you guys released?
8. We've released we've released 13 now, because it was, so 8 up until May, and then it jumped to 13. So we have released, most recently our releases have been cross fosters. So we've cross fostered a total of 7 pups, all from the same wonderful set of parents. So shout out to Trumpet and Lighthawk for their unknowing sacrifices for their species. And then we've released 3 adult Mexican gray wolves, and then 3 adult red wolves.
Is like not a good idea. Do you want to rock instead? Do you want a book? Oh my gosh. She was telling us before the stream, guys, you have to make a trade if you're going to take something from him. I think he dropped it. Nice. All right. Just a little bit. That's okay. Okay, I got it. All right, sorry, continue.
So a total of 13
releases.
and they can only be released into established release sites. So for red wolves right now, that is eastern North Carolina, into a 5-county area that consists of 2 wildlife refuges.
Cool.
And then for Mexican gray wolves, it would be either Arizona or New Mexico. Yeah. There's also a separate release site in northern Mexico, but that releases there have temporarily been paused. That population has been dropping pretty quickly, and so Mexican wildlife officials have pulled back a bit to kind of reevaluate. Mm-hmm. But speaking of red wolves and release sites, the Wolf Conservation Center has expanded our mission to also include research. And so we have a research team that one of their projects is actually working to identify additional release sites for red wolves along the East Coast, mm-hmm. which is part of their natural range, looking at social attitudes towards wolves, but also looking at how coyotes would survive in those areas, because coyotes right now are the largest predator we have along the East Coast, with the exception of bears. And so it's really indicative of how wolves would fare if people are very anti-coyote.
Yeah.
Coyotes are smaller, so if people are not willing or able to coexist with a smaller canid, how would they be willing to coexist with a larger one? So that research effort is led by the Wolf Conservation Center's Dr. Joey Hinton. He's also one of the leading red wolf ecologists as well. So it's been another great way for us to really kind of give our all to wolf conservation by incorporating a research component as well.
ASMR is very risky here, guys. I'm trying, but I don't want to take the mic. And then people were asking how you know where the wolves are, if you're tracking them, or there collars on them when you release them, or...
Yes. So every adult wolf that's released is given a tracking collar. And those tracking collars would primarily be GPS, but there are some that are VHF tracking collars as well. When pups are released through a cross foster, they are too small for collars, so they are just given a microchip, and if they are captured in the future in a collaring effort, then they would be given a tracking collar as well. Also, just as a fun occurrence, the boots you're wearing, those are our Run Like a Wolf sponsor, Loa boots.
I love these. Have lasted forever, and now they're lasting through a wolf chewing them.
So it's
that's a great advert.
You should be a spokesperson for
Yeah, there you go, guys. Gorilla, thank you for the 50. Alexis, thank you for the 5. Asymmetric with 50. Chaotic with 5. Guys, all of your donations are going straight to Wolf Conservation Center today to support the work that they do. Thank you so much. This is Silas. He is... Oh, that's so much more fun. What is that?
A drop on.
From...
Maybe a buffalo.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
I have more enrichment. I'm gonna grab some.
Okay. She's gonna grab some more enrichment. Should get him his own boots. No, the donos are not going straight to new shoes. I am not seeing any of this money. They're going straight to Wolf Conservation Center. So we're in New York, you guys. This is Conservation Uncharted. This is a series I started, I don't know, a year and a half ago, not even 2 years ago. We're on our 5th episode now, and I go out and meet with conservation organizations where they are and talk about their work and fundraise for them. He knows something's coming. He sees it. He's ready. And so this is our 2nd episode with Wolf Conservation Center. We are very, very lucky to be here and to meet Silas. Is this the banana?
Yeah,
there's
frozen
banana in there. Tracer, thank you for the $15. I appreciate that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys so much for your donations. I didn't know he'd be into banana. That's so fun.
Yeah, wolves are actually, while they're classified as carnivores, they can follow more of an omnivorous diet. So the wolves here do get meat primarily. It's really what fuels them, but they also get, banana, as Silas is eating right now, apples, berries. And wolves in the wild would consume fruit as well. There's a really cool research effort going on right now up in Minnesota. There's a group called Voyagers Wolf Project, and they're studying wolves in summer, kind of what do wolves do. A lot of wolf research is usually conducted in winter. And they have found that their northern Minnesota wolves in the summer like to eat a lot of blueberries. It's a great way to kind of fill gaps in the diet. And one of their tracked wolves also participates in our Run Like a Wolf challenge. So you can kind of compare your mileage to him. And last year, he actually was doing really well. He was trucking along, and then he wasn't moving much for a few days. Turns out he actually found a blueberry patch and decided to stay there for a few days and eat a lot of blueberries.
That's so funny.
So yes, so Silas is enjoying the banana. It's a great sweet treat, but it's not really going to provide him with a huge burst of energy.
Guy, thank you for the $20 donations. Dylan, thank you for the $15 donation. That got us to our $6,500 donation goal. Thank you guys so much. So that answers your question about tracking. You guys have asked so many wonderful questions today. Thank you so much. I don't know how long you guys normally have him out here. I don't want to have him out here too long. We're okay. We're still going.
He's happy, so.
Okay. Guys, we'll chill out here for a little bit longer because she says he's happy, or Silas is happy, so we're good to hang out. If you guys have some more questions, you absolutely can ask them. If there are new people here, which I know there are because it jumped up a little bit, this is Silas. He is an ambassador wolf here at Wolf Conservation Center. Wait, how do we hit that? Oh my gosh, Kanai donated $2,500. So never mind. We're at, wait, what space? Oh, now we're at $9,000 total because he donated $2,500. Sorry, my activity feed broke. You broke my activity feed. Thank you so much. That is a crazy donation. That is amazing. Okay, so if you guys don't know what's going on, we have now raised $9,000 for Wolf Conservation Center out here in New York. It is a 30-ish acre facility where they do recovery programs for Mexican gray wolves and red wolves. They've released some of those wolves in the past to very sparse wild populations. Mexican gray wolves, there are 240 left, and red wolves, there are only 14 individuals left in the wild. So the work that they're doing here is so important. And not only do they do that kind of recovery and release, but they also do education. So they have an ambassador wolf here. Silas is a brand new ambassador wolf puppy. He's 10 weeks old and he's in his socialization phase. So we get to hang out with him today, talk about wolves, and you guys are fundraising to help support their continued education program here to teach people about wolves and how to advocate for them. And they keep working to protect them in lots of different ways. So that's what we're here for. You can do Command WCC. You can do Command TIP if you want to donate to WCC today. It's going directly to them. They are a nonprofit. Cyborg, thank you for the 15. Kiki with the 15, thank you. And you can also check them out. They have a Twitch channel and they have live cams, just like we have live cams on the Alveus channel. So you can watch the wolves all day. And soon, like in July even, you might be able to watch Silas on the live cam. So you should definitely go follow that channel so you can see when he moves out there. It'd be very, very cool. Good night. Thank you so much for your support of the stream and your donations on all the streams. It's crazy. It's very nice. If you guys have questions, we've kind of just been hanging out with Silas answering questions. So if you have them, you can do #ask followed by your question, and I will pull them up, and we will answer some of them. Oh, cool. Wolf Conservation Center has my stream on their channel. Cool. This is an interesting one. KSL said, does the center participate in breeding programs with zoos for genetic diversity?
Yes, we do. So the SAFE programs, they are run by AZA, so the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. So many of the facilities that do participate in those programs are zoos. The Wolf Conservation Center is not a zoo. We are not classified as such, but we do work with other facilities that have red wolves and Mexican gray wolves, because essentially you can kind of imagine the captive population as one big kind of pool. And so when it comes to breeding decisions, these decisions are made primarily by population biologists, and they are looking at basically like a computer program, and it will list the inbreeding coefficients, the mean kinship of captive wolves. And so a wolf here could be considered to be a very good genetic match with a wolf that lives out in California. And they would then turn to the centers, so Rebecca and her counterpart at that other facility, and they would figure out kind of how that's going to happen. Is a wolf coming here? Are we sending a wolf somewhere based on space? But yes, we do work with other facilities because these wolves technically are not ours. They belong to, quote, the federal government, but really that means they belong to every single person in the country. Mm-hmm. We don't like thinking of wolves as belonging to people. Rather, we are kind of tasked with making sure we're doing everything we can to conserve them and create a better future. And so for red wolves and Mexican gray wolves, part of that does involve captive breeding.
Got it. Cool. That's a great question. Tracer, thank you for the 15, Booters with 20, Super Duper Egg with $50, Pack with $50, Lich with $25. Thank you guys so much. Fun question, probably for you, Rebecca. Alice said, what is Silas's favorite treat or enrichment at the moment?
That is a good question. You know, for him, he's only been on this planet for 10 weeks. So everything is new, everything is exciting. So it's hard to say if he has a favorite, because one thing is better than the next, you know, only because he's never experienced it before. There's so much yet. He hasn't even had watermelon yet, which is a favorite among our ambassador wolves in the summertime. Yeah, we haven't given that just yet. But he loves exploring, I'd say. He loves just checking out new places. I personally have a lot of animals myself, and part of his socialization process was me bringing him home. I have a lot of fenced-in areas, and him just hanging out and exploring and getting exposed to new things. I do have a pig and a tortoise, and he loves checking them out, especially the pig. I think he's probably the only wolf pup in the planet that has a pig as a friend right now. Through a fence, of course, but he's very curious about him. He greets him with a wag of the tail. So I think that's really fun for him, because it's this massive animal that he'll probably never see again. So, but yeah, he loves new toys. He loves, I take a lot of toys and marrow bones, and Kong. Actually, Kong donated a bunch of toys to him as well.
That's awesome.
And stick bananas and different things and freeze them to give him something to do. He loves different textures. Texture's also a fun thing. Ice is fairly new to him. That was probably only maybe the second time he's had ice before. He loves this sand pit. The other day he was digging and rolling in it and jumping around. So it's going to be so much fun.
Everything.
Exploring with him, yeah, because everything is new. I mean, Nakai, being here for 9 years, has seen a lot, but this guy has a lot to still learn about.
Yeah, cool. Susie, thank you for the 15. Noop, thank you for the 15. Knight with $4. Jam with $15. Booters with 20. Super Duper Egg with 50. Pack with 50. Thank you guys so much for those donations. That is awesome. We're at $9,255 raised. And you guys are just watching him sleep now. He's just hanging out. Lamont, thank you for the $25. And someone also asked, well, I guess you started answering it because you said he gets to see a bunch of new things, but people have asked why he has a collar on.
Yeah, I figured someone would ask sooner or later. So again, this is the time to get him used to stuff, and we do have to walk him on a leash to get him back and forth. We do have an indoor nursery in our office in our veterinary hospital. We've kind of converted part of it into a nursery for him. So he did start there and then has transitioned to out here with this camper. So he does need to walk on a leash, and the collar is even for dogs, especially when they're not used to it, it can be annoying. So he doesn't wear it all the time, but I do like him to wear it so he could get used to it. Nakai can walk on a leash as well, and it's good if you ever have an emergency or you need to move them in for whatever reason. It's nice to have them leash. I don't want to use trained, but leash acclimated to be able to get them from one place to another. So this is the time to get him used to it. When he does move into the big enclosure, he won't be wearing a collar. It's only for socialization purposes right now.
Oh, wow. Banshee, thank you for the $100 donation. Darnex, thank you for the $25. Riley, thank you for the $50. Darnex, thank you for the $25. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to make sure the live view is charging. Yeah, it's 12 volt. It's all plugged in. I don't know why it's not. So, we'll see how long it lasts. Oh, he's sleepy. He's very cute. Okay, guys, he is a sleepy boy. We're going to do a couple more questions, and that'll be it for today. Curdy asked, what is your current outlook for wolves hopefully becoming less endangered as species?
So that's a really interesting question. So in terms of wolf numbers across the country are steadily increasing. However, just because wolf numbers are growing, you can't necessarily say that a population is, quote, safe or recovered, because wolves do face a lot of challenges. And one of the challenges we're seeing develop over these last few years has been kind of the concept of recovery based on numbers, but also based on politics. So right now, as we mentioned earlier, there are several bills introduced that would strip wolves of protections. Some call for no judicial review, which means they can't then further be challenged. And we're seeing that these bills are being introduced because politicians are claiming that wolves are, quote, recovered, meaning their numbers have hit what science years ago had said was a minimum number that was needed. But we're also faced with the question that as wolf populations grow, some people think it then becomes more appropriate to kill them. And we would love to see wolves recovered, meaning wolves have hit numbers where they no longer require, quote, human intervention, but that doesn't mean you should kill them, because there's, again, no reason to kill wolves. It's not ethical. And even hunters who are subsistence hunters, meaning they hunt to feed themselves, even they primarily do not support trophy hunting. So to say that we would love wolves to be less endangered, the answer is yes, we would. We would love to see a world where wolves thrive. That's, in fact, our mission. But we would love to also see a world where wolves are allowed to be wolves without fear of persecution. And so right now, having those endangered protections are what are keeping wolves safe, because we don't yet have a human population that is compassionate towards all living things. So yes, we want wolf numbers to grow, but we also want attitudes towards wolves to continue to improve. Once those two kind of converge and overlap, perhaps then the future for wolves will be brighter. But right now we are really at a crossroads for wolves, and it is a very challenging and important time.
And you guys can go to WCC's action page, set range and mods, if you guys wouldn't mind linking that again. That would be wonderful. You guys can send letters, pre-written letters to your representatives. You can follow Wolf Conservation Center everywhere. I mean, you guys have Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, it all.
Yes.
YouTube. You can go find them everywhere and stay updated on everything that they're doing and find more ways to help. You do command WCC for all of their information. Thank you very much. And if you want to go follow their Twitch channel and watch their live cams, because I know you guys love live cams, you will see Silas out on one of the live cams pretty soon. And so that will be very, very cool. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Is there anything else that you wanna share before we log off?
Just a huge thanks to everyone for your donations, for tuning in, and hopefully your continued support in the future. As Maya said, Silas will soon be living with Nakai, so you will be able to watch him on camera. And we're doing a lot of fun things around Silas over these next few weeks. We're doing a Silas puppy shower. So perhaps I'll see just part of it is a donation, but because you've already donated, I'll see if we can send over some of those digital components to Maya, perhaps to distribute.
I saw that on your Twitter today.
Yeah, so we'll see if we can send some of those over. Some nice photos of Silas as well. But yes, your support is so appreciated, and support comes in so many ways. So even if you're not able to financially donate, but you've loved watching Silas, consider using your voice to help Silas's wild relatives. All of those things do make a great difference for wolves. And because we do rely entirely on donations, it really is wonderful to see everyone supporting our mission so strongly. So thank you so much to everyone for joining in today. And thank you to Maya for tossing her channel to the wolves.
Yeah,
it's really wonderful.
Oh, okay. Of course. Knight tipped $425, and Mr. Bickles tipped $100, and Tracer with $10, and Devil with $15, and Grizzer with $25. And all of those donations, Songs of Fire, Alex, Rox, Grizzer, Darnex, Banshee, got us to $10,100 in donations today, you guys. That is incredible. That is the most we've ever raised for Conservation Uncharted, or for an episode. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, you were saying it.
Oh, okay. One thing we just realized, we didn't try a howl.
Oh, yeah.
So what a great way.
People were asking because you did it last year.
What a great way to end this is to give a howl. And
sure.
I
Rebecca took the microphone from me just so they could hear. I don't want them to hear.
It's very loud.
Right, yeah.
Oh, I have the mic. Usually. best tiny mic I've ever done. Guys, that was for $10,000 in donations today. Thank you so much for watching. That's the most we raised on a Conservation Uncharted episode, and our second one here. So this was amazing. I hope you guys learned a ton about wolves. I hope you can go follow Wolf Conservation Center in some of those places, even if you weren't able to donate today. Thank you so much for watching and learning. That is very, 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 very important too. And that's the reason that we're out here. So thank you. Yeah, back to bed. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you like Silas. I will see you guys next week. We have Superstars on Tuesday. It's Toast's birthday. Our blue-tongued skink. It's his first birthday. So we're having a birthday party for Toast next week. That'll be my next stream. And I will see you guys there for that. Thank you again. So many donations. I really, really, really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I'm going to set up a raid to Wolf Conservation Center today. Actually, Space, could you start that? We'll raid into their channel today so you guys can see what they're doing over there, see their live cams, and go follow their channel. All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. You guys made it so easy for me today. You're just like, you did all the talking for me. You guys' questions were great. Thank you so much. Go follow Wolf Conservation Center, and I will see you next week. Okay, sorry Twitch is down for some of you. I don't know what's going on there, but can't do anything about it. I would say bye to Silas. Yeah, go ahead.